Okay, come on. I think some of them are starting to come out.
Okay, you ready? Put your jacket on when you get down this. Ow. Excuse me. Okay, come on. Keep going, Matthew. Keep going. At least we'll get our walking in. What we wanting to do.
Yeah, we could have parked over here. Yeah, look at all the cactus, Mom.
Look at there. Looks like bathrooms up there. I'm scared to go though. I will miss it.
Well, you can go
It might be alright.
See, there's some. I think there's some coming out right now. They send out a few scouts or
I
something.
wonder how long will it last, 10 minutes or something? Or... Come on, Matthew.
Those bats, even from this distance, look pretty small, but their body size is only a couple inches. With their wing spread, we're only talking about 10 to 12 inches in wing length. So keep that in mind when you're looking at life as a bat down there, very small, so that you can see they can concentrate in those large areas. Another thing, as I look around here, we've got a lot of female bats, a lot of male bats, and we've got a lot of smaller bats. The males are going to have to find another cage. You guys can't stay for the summer, I'm sorry, but this is a maternity roost. The females came here back in the spring to have their babies, and then they will leave come fall to return to Mexico, where they'll spend the winter in much warmer climate. The little ones, you can stick around, especially if you're only about a year old, because you were probably born here this summer. And by the time you return next year, possibly to Carlsbad Caverns, you'll be ready then to have your own young. So it's mainly female bats. However, we have a few males that are here. We also have male populations that'll stop off, especially when they're migrating in the spring. So we'll let you guys stick around for a while tonight. But mainly you're seeing female bats that are flying out of the cage.
See, they circle out until they get up high enough, then they take off.
We're going to see bats flying out for hours yet. So we got lots of time for them to get bigger here. So it's not need to have everybody stay seated, please. That's real important, because everybody can't see behind you if you're standing up. Please have a seat. What I'd like to do now is, we've only really touched on the bats and only a little bit about them, so let me go ahead and open it up to questions and answer a few of those questions that you've been waiting for all night to ask. Will you be able to see bats tomorrow when you go through the cave? No, you will not. Those bats range about 500 feet from any trail system in total darkness, so you will not see bats while you're in the cave. No.
What's the average lifespan?
The average lifespan of a Mexican free-tailed bat is between 13 and 18 years. So you're talking about an average of 15 years in there somewhere along the way. And they may spend several of those 15 years right here at Carlsbad Caverns if they come back.
How many insects will one bat eat?
How many insects will one bat eat? Well, of course, in one night, they can, Mexican free-tailed can eat up to half their body weight. They may fly and eat on and fly more. So in the course of the night, they may even eat more than that. But they can eat up to half their body weight, which their body weight is a half an ounce as a full-grown adult, so that would be a quarter of an ounce of insects. The babies are, when they're born, are a quarter of their mother's weight, 1/8 of an ounce. So you're talking about the weight of a quarter. Very, very small. And they need to be small to be able to fly. Their main body size is that wing, a very, very thin membrane that attaches the fingers, their arms, the elbows, their legs, if you have a knee included, and also the toes. And that very thin membrane has to also include the blood vessels as well as the nerves that you could read a newspaper through it. It's so thin. They have to be extremely light to be able to fly with the maneuverability that you're seeing there. They may get up to 20 to 30 miles per hour as they're flying to sea. They'll cover close to 150 miles before they return around sunup tomorrow morning to return to the caverns after speeding all night. Got some other questions? Are all of these bats? Most of them are. You probably have a few of the cave swallows that we saw the back. Cave swallows also live within the cave. Just right in the mouth of the cave, they have their mud nests, which hang from the ceiling. They're the day users. They feed on the insects during the day. Those bats will go in around sunrise, then the cave swallows come out. You notice how they really started to thin out then as the bats started to fly out. So we may see a few cave swallows still that haven't returned. About what time in the morning do you have to come back to see the bats fly back in? Right around sunrise is when you can see them. They may start returning anytime after midnight, but you won't be able to see them until around 6:30 when the sun's starting to come up, and you're welcome to come see it. It's pretty spectacular. They don't spiral back in. Instead, to get down under the lip of the cave, they have to dive bomb, and they will fold in their wings, and they just dive. Matter of fact, you can even hear the zip, zip as they go by. It's pretty spectacular. Roads will be open, parking lots open, feel free to come. I, however, will not be here at 6:30. So you're on your own. This almost funnel-like effect starts to thin out and spread out to cover a wider area. So you probably would not see a flight like this going to this river, Black River. Could you go like 50 miles from here and see it? That I don't know. I would say 50 miles away probably, I doubt it. I really haven't gone that far to see it. Why do they all seem to be going that way? Maybe a couple reasons. Black River, Pecos Rivers, in that general area that they're getting to, especially the Black River. Also the fact that, what's their other choice? Over our heads or going this way, they're going through man's modernization. Until, probably an hour from now, when most of you have headed back down the road and it's very quiet in the State Theater, some of them will start to fly over us. So it may be the fact that we're all sitting here and I have a microphone going that probably also helps distraction from right over our head. Do they deplete the amount of insects in an area and then have to live somewhere else? That's a factor. If you were to have a drought, a summer, or an overuse of pesticides, or just a regular use of pesticides, you may drastically decrease the amount of insects in an area, which means you're drastically going to impact the population of bats. And you can see the change here just get that momentum started to fly. And even the babies, when they're learning to fly, it's a do or die situation. They're going to drop from the ceiling, and either they're going to drop all the way to the floor, or they're going to pick up that momentum and start to fly. So mainly these bats do not do well if they fall to the ground. They're probably going to be eaten by their predators instead. A reminder, folks, that we need everybody sitting down. Take your photographs from the amphitheater, please, and no use of flash photography.
The bats come out if it's raining.
Well, bats come out if it's raining. Not usually, especially if it's a downpour. And the reason being, not necessarily they're worried about getting wet. Why fly? Because your insects aren't going to be out when it's raining. So you may have several nights of rain. They typically won't fly, but boy, when it quits raining, you're going to have a spectacular flight, and they typically will fly early. You can see that they've gotten a lot thicker from when we first started seeing them, and they will continue maybe even up to an hour. Last night they flew from about 7:15, 8:30. There was still a fair amount of them flying out. So when you're trying to get a lot of bats out, it will be a continuous flight. It just may start out pretty puffy like we saw this evening. How high can a bat fly? There have been bats that were found at 10,000 feet in altitude flying. However, that's not very typical, because anybody know of any insects that fly at 10,000 feet in altitude? So they're not normally going to fly that high. They're mainly going to be flying around your tree level, an area where you are going to find insects like moths, which is their favorite, or possibly a mosquito or so. So they're mainly going to stay near the ground level.
Got some kind of telemetry.
Any questions with that? Is this about the maximum density they get? They can get up to 5,000 bats per minute. I would consider this a pretty thick, steady flight. So you're seeing a pretty good flight here tonight. Do the bats get dizzy going around? Actually, there are times when bats, in this process of flying out, will run into those walls down there, and they'll fall to the trail, and we may find them in the morning. Maybe that's caused by them getting dizzy, or maybe they just didn't have enough energy for the night before to fly out. And that's important. These bats, being such fast flyers, have a very high metabolism rate. And they're going to burn up this energy very quickly, so that while they're flying out there, they've got to feed pretty heavily to get them not only back to Bat Cave, but to get them back out the next night. If they were to fly further down into the caverns and start roosting in other parts, they would run into the problem that they might not have energy to get themselves all the way back out. So that's one reason they were so close to their entrances. The bats will fly back first thing tomorrow morning. Bulk of them will return right around sunrise. What brings the bats back here every year? Why? They know they're going to be put on beautiful display. They'll have hundreds and thousands of people to watch them. We don't really know. The population may vary from time to time. Some of them probably are flying in other caves that are more desirable, that don't have a lighting system within 400 yards of them, and people walking within 500 yards of them. But it's been within the last several years pretty consistent at around 500,000 bats per summer. So we're at least getting enough of them to return every year. And it's a desirable area for them. They may fly for about 10 to 12 hours throughout the night. They're going to cover close to about 100, 150 miles. But that's probably not continuous. They probably might even stop off in areas so they can simply digest their food rather than flying out of their stomach at all times. So they may not fly continuously for that 10 to 12 hours. They may even return to the cave around midnight if they've eaten all the insects that they need. Okay. Do the bats have nests? Now that's one reason this is a good time to film the bat flights, because you're seeing the peak population right now. You're seeing all those mothers that came here in the spring, plus you're seeing their babies flying as well.
Did you ask her? I can't tell when you had a question.
Question is, we had the question before, how do we know that the bats come back every year? How do they know to come back here? Do they send scouts ahead? And that's questionable. If you were here in the spring, you'll see a few bats come back, and like this past April, we had, maybe a couple hundred bats that were here for 3 or 4 nights. And for a while we thought maybe some of our population was back. Well, then they were gone. And those 300 or so bats migrated probably to another cave. And then we had a few more. Although when they leave here in October, pretty much you're going to see a flight like this one night, and then you're not going to see it anymore. They go in smaller bunches. They return in smaller bunches in the spring. So you may consider that first 100 maybe scouts. Who knows? That's one of the things we don't know about bats.
It's supposed to keep your hand out.
Okay, when they migrate, do they migrate at night? Do they go all the way, or do they make stops? They will pretty much have a flight like this, and they'll be gone. And they probably stop off in areas. They're going to need to feed along the way as well as rest. However, what they're going to do is they're going to conserve their energies. And not only when they migrate are they relying on this food supply of insects, but they're also at that point then going to rely on all that fatty tissue that they built up while they were resting here, so to speak, for the summer and vacationing. So they're going to use that fatty tissue to get them through the hard times while they're migrating. So it's a several-day process. They migrate to Mexico, to the east and west coast of Mexico. So it's a distance for them to travel.
Keep your hand up when I ask a question. I can't see it.
Okay, to digest their food, will they land? They very well may land. They'll probably, however, find some place where they're going to hang, so that when they're ready to fly, they'll simply drop. The bats are designed with really neat toes. They not only bend like our toes, but they bend backwards. They're very flexible. Also, when it only takes a tiny little crevice for their toes to hang off of. And all they have to do is grab another little crevice, and when their foot is relaxed, their toes are relaxed, they're clenched. And that's how that bat can go to sleep or rest and digest his food without falling. But they just release their toes, drop, and that's how they're going to start to fly. These bats, if it was to land right here next to me to feed on an insect, it probably would be in big trouble because it's not going to have an easy time getting back into flight. Probably there's a raccoon or ringtail cat that's going to get to him before he's able to fly off again. Do bats bite? You bet they do. They have teeth. Matter of fact, the babies are formed what's called milk teeth, so they can actually bite onto their mother so they can hang on so they don't fall. And they do bite. But you're probably never going to even get close enough to a bat so that he can bite you. And if you ever are close enough to a bat to get bitten, I wouldn't even get close to it because that's probably a true sign of a bat that's either diseased, very sick, and probably could do you harm just by the diseases that they carry. A bat is not going to fly into anybody in this audience and just bite you because you're not an insect. He wants nothing to do with you. Humans do nothing for a bat. So he doesn't want to be any closer to you than most people want to be to a bat. Is this the largest bat colony in America? No, it is not. There are caves in Texas, for example, which have much, much larger populations. Some that may go up to even 40 million bats. So this is not. However, this is the only place in the United States, probably in the world, that you will sit and watch bats leave with a formal program and everything. But you have to sit there. Most of those caves that support those large populations, most people don't even know what those caves are at. And now we'll then produce, going through a computer, fairly accurate counts of the number of bats that we have here this summer. So they do several filmings. This is about the third in the last couple of weeks, so that they'll get some accurate data on the population here. So that's what they're doing.
keep from hitting each other while
How do those bats keep from hitting each other while they're flying? Excellent question. The bats, not only in flight out of here, but even when they're flying for those insects, are depending on what's called sonar, or echolocation. The bats don't depend on a good eyesight. They're not blind, but they don't need to be able to see. They roost in total darkness. This is the most light that they're going to see all day. Pretty soon it's going to be dark and they're going to feed until early morning. So they rely on their sense of hearing because they're going to have a sound very high pitched. We normally can't even hear it with our own ears. High pitched sound leaves their mouth and it will bounce off the walls of the cave. It'll bounce off an insect. It'll bounce off a tree. And it comes back to them just like an echo. And from all that, they will pick up the size, the distance, maybe even the texture of whatever that is. And they will use different frequencies, whether it's a long distance away or whether it's from close to them. So sonar echolocation is what they're depending on. Can I give you an approximate number of bats that are flying out of here? My approximate number for the bats that you're seeing tonight will be probably close to about 500,000 bats. And that is just an approximation, because until all that data from that camera goes through a computer, we don't have the approximation for the summer. So keep that in mind. Okay. What kind of sound is it when they all wake up in there? Even when it's just a small amount of bats, you will hear kind of a high-pitched squeak. They have the high sound that they use, high-pitched sound they use for their sonar. They also will squeak. And as it gets darker and as we thin out the crowd and after my microphone's out, if you listen real closely, you sometimes can hear the squeaks or the sounds. You can actually hear as they're flying out, just the mass of them flying out and their wings hitting each other, kind of a click-click sound. And that's some of what you'll hear, is that chatter, that squeaking, when they're in the bat cave area. Has anybody ever recorded that and been down in there? Not to my knowledge, but it might have been done. The thing is, it's not a good thing to be in bat cave when the bats are flying out. Number one, if you want to look up an eye, you better keep your mouth shut. And it's not a safe place to be, because you've got bats flying right into you at that point, because you're in their home. Plus, even from the guano, which is just Spanish for their manure, the guano can carry diseases, and you can actually just simply inhale that by being in the bat cave area. So it's not a place to be in the summer without respirators or anything like that, or protections. Why do the bats go in a circular motion? We've watched that since the first bat came out of this cave, and that's probably for several reasons. We're not sure why. Probably to gain a little altitude. They're pretty much running along a flat area to get out of that cave, but then all of a sudden they've got to get up this lip in the cave. So they're flying in circles to gain some altitude. Probably they're just taking a few minutes to adjust their eyes. They've been back in there and very close to total darkness, and they've got to adjust to then the light here at dusk. So that's probably why they're going in circles. How many bats are born to each female? The females that came here in the spring carrying their young each probably have one baby. It's very, 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 very seldom that a bat will have twins or triplets or anything like that. Each mother usually has only one young per year. Is it true that there's puddles and pools of ammonia down in bat caves? Well, I've been in bat caves in the winter and I never saw any puddles or pools. penetrating forms because you're just smelling the odor of the bat. They have to smell as well as the guano smells. So it sure is.
Birds of prey to come down and get all they want to eat.
Why wouldn't this be a haven for birds of prey to come down and get all they can eat? Well, you know, all we need to do is somehow be able to communicate to those birds, and we probably haven't made. But there has been. Even this summer, there's been a great horned owl that's flown over, picked a few bats and sat up here and put on a pretty good show. Several years ago, maybe 4 years ago, right down in the cave actually was a nest for a pair of great horned owls, and they flew out at night and they just feasted, and they had it made. They had dinner every night, and they sit right up here on this rock, and they put on a better show than the bats did in many cases. So I would think there'd be more, but it only happens occasionally. Is this the only hole that they come out of? No, it is not. However, you're seeing the major part of the population. About a quarter of a mile, and that's the second natural entrance to Carlsbad Caverns. It's simply a hole in the ground that drops down about 140 feet directly into that cave. But it's a very, very small entrance, and it's vertical, contrary to the horizontal. So these bats are going to have a hard time. They don't have a lot of area to spiral. They also are going to have a problem with that long vertical expanse. So most of the bats fly up here. You might see 300, 500 maybe flying out of that second entrance, but they do use that entrance. But very few. Okay, while you're walking through the cave on a tour, why aren't you getting hit by any guano falling from the ceiling? You will get hit by guano from the cave swallows because you're walking directly under their nest. But you won't from the bats because you're not even going to go within 500 feet of where those bats roost. They're way off any trail area. If we put a trail through Bat Cave area, we would maybe see half of these bats. We may see none because just us being there, you have to have a light source. Bats aren't going to want to live where there's a light source. You're making noise as you walk through. You're adding your body heat as you walk through. So the bats would not be any willing at all to share their life with you back in that cave. Plus the fact that it would be a health hazard to you. So we don't even leave tours in the back cave.
When these bats leave, they're going out for food. If one found food about a mile from here, would he come back and just be happy, or he can stay with the group and keep on flying?
Okay. If the bat was flying around maybe a mile from here, he found a good insects to fly, he found out would he return right away? Probably not, because he needs to consume a fair amount of insects so that he not only has that energy to get back here, but he can fly out tomorrow morning. And he's going to maybe stop off someplace else, digest that food, and he might do that elsewhere. Or he might come back and leave again, but I don't know if we've actually seen that happen. But primarily,